Welcome back to this episode of the Shooting Bricks podcast. And guys, it's been a minute. It's like what, over a week since we did our last episode, but life gets in the way, but it doesn't matter. We're here now, and there's a lot of news to break down. But before we get into that, to get into all that, as always, I'm Jerry Castillo, and I'm joined by.
I'm Daniel Nguyen. I plan on seeing the Suicide Squad sometime this weekend. I'm going to go to the TCL Chinese Theater. I'm not trying to be arrogant. I just want to see it in a damn good movie theater. And joining me as well.
I'm with you on that, Daniel. If y'all watching the YouTube video, if y'all listen to it on Apple Podcasts, whatever the case may be, go check out the YouTube video because you can see this Kyle Kuzma jersey. Because it's gonna be the last time y'all see this bad boy on me. It's a cool jersey. I'll still wear it throwback. But it's your boy, Gerrel Sells. Can't wait to get into these topics today, Jarrod.
Yeah, absolutely. Really quickly on the Kyle Kuzma jersey. A few nights ago, my family and I went out to go eat dinner, and we saw a dude wearing a Kyle Kuzma Lakers jersey, and I guess he was just living it up one last time because that's a very rare thing to have, and for him to have it and to proudly display it after everything that happened, hey, more props to him, man, more props to him. But yeah, G, you mentioned Kyle Kuzma, and basically this is the question that I'm going to ask you guys, and I know what your answer is, and it pertains to Kyle Kuzma, but who won free agency? For me personally, I think it was the Chicago Bulls or the New York Knicks, because if you just look at how their seasons ended, you would never think that, oh, the New York Knicks is going to be a top four seed. Well, they were. And with the roster that was constructed with the Chicago Bulls last season, with the trade for Nikola Vucevic, you'd think they would be able to sneak into the playoffs. Well, they didn't sneak into the playoffs. And so everyone at the front office was like, we got to change things up. And change they did, because they got your guy, Lonzo Ball. They got your guy, Alex Caruso. And they got our guy, DeMar DeRozan. Shout out USC. So with all of that, no offense to Wendell Carter Jr., Garrett Temple, or Kobe White, but I mean, if you move to a starting lineup with Lonzo Ball, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Patrick Williams, and then Nikola Vucevic with, Alex Caruso coming off the bench, and Kobe White and Lauri Markkanen coming off the bench, that's a solid squad. I think they are legitimately a playoff contender. They won't, I don't, they're, I guess their ceiling's capped at maybe like fifth or sixth, but they will be in the playoffs. Count it, what is it? August 5th, 4:20 p.m. Nice. Count it. The Bulls are going to the playoffs. I guarantee it. But also, my other team that could have won free agency was the New York Knicks, because nobody expected them to do what they did, but they did. And again, no offense to Reggie Bullock or Alfred Payton, but I'm pretty sure Evan Fournier and Kemba Walker, once he gets bought out from the Thunder, are massive improvements over those two aforementioned players. Plus, they kept Julius Randle, they kept D Rose, they kept Alec Burks, and they kept Nerlens Noel. Fun fact about Julius Randle, he averaged 24, 10, and 6 on 46, 41, and 81 shooting splits. And surprisingly enough, he's the only player to do that since Larry Bird, at least shooting 40% from the field and averaging all those points and rebounds and assists. And unless something drastic happens, they're staying in the top four unless, like I said, something drastic happens. But I don't think anything will happen. I think they're going to be fine. And it's just up to the Knicks to stay being relevant. What about you guys?
First off, I just wanted to say that I was quite honestly surprised that Chicago did so well this free agency. Honestly, I love how this Chicago team is looking. You got Nikola Vucevic and you got Zach LaVine, one of the more underrated guards in this league. To me, he's a top 15 player. I think they got extremely better this offseason. Lonzo Ball, I think he's going to be a great fit with Zach LaVine. I kind of disagree with you, Jarrod. I think the Bulls are definitely going to the playoffs, but they're not a bottom half playoff team. I think they could reach the top four, even crack the top three if they got really lucky and played really well this season. I believe in this Bulls team. This Bulls team is well coached, but I think, after in all of that, I think there's still one bigger winner this free agency, and it's obviously the Los Angeles Lakers. I think they definitely won this free agency period. Think about it, with the whole explosive blockbuster trade landing Russell Westbrook. that Rob Pelinka had one priority and prerogative this free agency period: to support the big three as much as possible to cover up their play deficiencies. Rob Pelinka did just that. We got enough. We got enough supports. We got extra shooters in Monk, Kendrick Nunn, and yes, I'm willing to say it. The pickup of Carmelo Anthony is going to serve a purpose. He's going to be that guy you get off the bench for a period, like a solid 10-15 minutes, get a couple three shots in. He's going to play a valuable role in that. And we bring out Trevor Ariza. I know it's kind of biased and nostalgia in a nostalgia sense, but I like that. I like he's being brought on back on this team, and we got Dwight Howard back. So we improved in terms of guards, shooting, and we especially improved defensively. Dwight Howard, especially, I don't think he should have left LA in the first place. I'm going to say it right now. The Lakers are going to make a deep championship run this year. There's a chance we could win it all. It's not going to be easy, but we damn have a chance.
And really quickly, I just want to, G, before you hop in here. So it's really interesting that the Lakers got all these older pieces, and let's not beat around the bush. The Lakers are old, but in order to get Westbrook to LA, check this. There was a 5-team trade, and it was so we all know that the Lakers and Washington Wizards were the primary players, but the Nets, Indiana, and San Antonio had to get involved just to make that trade happen. And if anything happened except for a championship, I think there will be riots in downtown LA. But I don't, that's just those are just my 2 cents. But go ahead, G. Sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, no worries at all. There's not many teams to choose from here, because what have teams done in the free agency aside from the Bulls and the Lakers? There hasn't been really too much big impacts going on as far as moving the needle. Like even the Knicks moves, in my opinion, isn't moving the needle because they don't have a star. They don't have a go-to guy. Julius Randle proved to us in the playoffs that he's not that guy. He's a second option, third option at best. And people said that, and we've said that. We've talked about it. So my answer is, of course, I'm biased. The home team, you see it in my background. I'm wearing the jerseys. I bleed purple and gold. The Los Angeles Lakers undoubtedly had the best free agency. Not only did they get Mr. Triple-Double himself, I ride for my dog, Brody Russell Westbrook, but they also got 8 players for $15 million. Let's break that down. They got Kendrick Nunn under the MLE, right? They got Dwight Howard. They got Trevor Ariza. They got Kent Bazemore, Wayne Ellington. Who else am I missing? We got 3 other people under that we signed for $15 million. So we gotta name the other 3 people. Dwight Howard. Who was the other person? Carmelo Anthony. And Malik Monk. Now, the reason why I say the Lakers won is because some of those names we wouldn't expect to sign for a veteran's minimum. Malik wants to be one of those players right there. You wouldn't expect Kendrick Nunn to sign an MLE. Remember, Kendrick Nunn is a first-team all-rookie. He's 24 years old, 6'2" point combo guard that could drive to the basket and score and can shoot. And the Miami Heat weren't utilizing him appropriately. We got Malik Monk. He's been falling in the rotation with the Hornets with the arrival of LaMelo Ball. These are young talent. We talk about all the old pieces, but think about it. We've seen the San Antonio Spurs with Bruce Bowen or who's the guy from France that I'm thinking of in my mind, Boris Diaw. We've seen teams that have older players that can still do what they need to do. LeBron James is 36, going on 37, still playing like a 32-year-old. Russell Westbrook hasn't taken a step back. Anthony Davis, I know he's made of glass, but all of these other players know their role, know what they're coming to do. They're versatile in the fact that they can do multiple things, and they're veterans. They're not going to get shit like KCP. No offense to KCP. So with that being said, the Lakers undoubtedly won. Given their cap flexibility, they made it happen, and this squad looks great, and we still have 3 spots open, but I give a strong second place to the Chicago Bulls because they not only got DeMar DeRozan, who's another shot creator on this team. Now you got 2. You got Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. And they got Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball is the perfect addition for the squad alongside Zach LaVine. In addition to that, if Lonzo Ball ends up getting injured, you still have Alex Caruso, who provides similar things that Lonzo Ball does on the defensive end, at least.
Obi White too.
Yeah. I'm thinking free agency period is going towards the end. but this is still the offseason. And I feel like if we have another episode and we ask who's going to have the better offseason, if the Bulls make a move where they can trade Lauri Markkanen, potentially Kobe White, and get another asset that can win now, like they buy in, I think the Bulls might have the best offseason. But hey, you guys let us know in the comments how you guys feel about this free agency. Who do you think won? If you guys agree with this or not, because we want to hear what you guys have to say too and have that dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely. Like hit us up on the social media accounts, Twitter, Instagram, whatever have you, YouTube. Just let us know what you think. But yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on the Lakers because yes, they did get pieces, but these pieces I feel like would have been better 2 or 3 years ago because Carmelo's not that guy. He's not that guy right now. Trevor Ariza, he's definitely not that guy. Dwight, he's settled down a bit, but I'm really banking on Malik Monk and Kendrick Nunn to be those guys more than, the aforementioned players because I feel like because they are younger, they can. How am I trying to put this? Basically, they're going to be further up on the depth chart than we think they would be, right? I feel like they would be 6 and 7, Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk, however you want to play that, off the bench, and everyone else is. Trevor Reese is probably going to be number 10, right? Realistically speaking, because you have Carmelo too, and you
I
have
think
Wayne Ellington.
The thing is, all of the players that you're mentioning, we don't need them to be that guy. We have
we don't
that guys. We have Russell Westbrook. We have LeBron James. We have Anthony Davis. And we look at what Dwight Howard did, 17 minutes last season, and he averaged 7 and 8 boards. All we need Dwight Howard to do is 3 things: rebound the ball, play some defense, dunk the ball. He knows his role. He's not that guy. He's that role. Carmelo Anthony with 25 minutes was averaging 13 points a game. He could do the same thing Kyle Kuzma did, but more efficient and less idiotic. So that's the thing. These veterans aren't that guy. We're not looking for a super team 10 years ago. We're looking at people that know their role. And that was the issue last year. We didn't have players that we had Dennis Schroeder come to our team and let us know, I'm not a 6-man, I'm starting. We have veteran players that know what they're going to do. Trevor Ariza knows he's not going to play every fucking game. If he does, fire Frank Vogel because he doesn't need to be that. But Trevor Ariza is going to be more of an impact than Jared Dudley was as our 15th man, as our 10th man. So that's how I look at it.
I mean, go ahead, Daniel. That's a fair thing to think about.
I mean, Jared, just kind of reiterating what Gerrel said, like you're kind of like you're over expecting these guys to be like what they were 10 years ago. Like that's not what us Lakers fans want. We just want guys that can come off the bench and give Russ, AD, and Braun the rest they need because we kind of saw that problem last season. We wanted Braun and AD to step up too much. We just wanted the pressure to be loaded off. That's what we got essentially during the 2020 regular season. Everyone around LeBron and AD stepped up, and the year after that didn't happen. We just want to repeat what happened in 2020. And I mean that's essentially what I'm hoping we get this season because I have a good feeling about this upcoming season. It just seems that last season left a bitter taste in everyone's mouth, and the coaches and the players, this squad feels motivated. This squad feels motivated, and there's a chip on his shoulder. And then I just feel it's a good feeling. This Lakers organization all around, from execs, coaches to the players on the bottom, they all feel motivated to win it all. So I mean, that's all that matters to me. And if that's the feeling I'm getting, this offseason has been a success so far.
So
8 players for 15 mil. That's all I gotta say.
And potentially LaMarcus Aldridge because he's eyeing a comeback. Well, hopefully he decides what's best for him. I mean, you never want to play with your heart in more ways than one, but you guys are talking about winning it all, right?
That was smooth. That was smooth.
Yeah. But okay, is it championship or bust for the Lakers? Really quickly, just curious. Is it championship or bust?
I'm going to be real. I think it's LeBron is only getting older by the day and by the year. I think if anything, this is going to be one of his last big hurrahs for the championship. So in my opinion, this is an old squad, but an old squad that is still effective with effective players all around. At best, the window is maximum 2 years, but if anything, I think it's going to be a very important year for LeBron. I think LeBron is probably feeling the pressure. I think he has to win this season.
So it's going to be championship
or bust. It's championship or bust. I just think it's like we're just getting near the end of the road. Like he's not getting any younger.
Okay. G, championship or
The
bust?
answer, it's championship or bust. I agree.
Okay.
That's how we're looking at it. And
Okay.
y'all let us know too, because I'm pretty sure there's at least 5 teams in the NBA that are championship or bust. So y'all need to get active in the comments. Come on now.
Yeah. And another offshoot question really quickly then. If let's say the Brooklyn Nets make it to the finals, which they probably might because the East is the East. So, are you taking the Nets or the Lakers? Obviously, you guys are Laker fans, but looking at it objectively speaking, in a 7-game series, who would you take? I take the Nets because LeBron is
Uh,
37 and Russell Westbrook, you don't know because he's never reached that stage. And Anthony Davis, he's really hit or miss. So,
I'm taking the Lakers in 7 games. It's going to be a fight to the end. I just think chemistry wise, I have a weird feeling that we're going to get a more of a repeat of 2020 than 2021. I think this Laker team is going to be one of the best chemistry teams all around. I just feel the Nets personality wise, I have a feeling that they're going to clash in the long road and into the postseason. And in my opinion, they haven't really done much this offseason. They have actually lost pieces. So, and they still have those defensive issues. So I'm gonna side with the Lakers, but it's gonna be a rough ride to the finals. Like expect a 7 game series or two,
okay, fair
especially
enough.
with the Warriors in the West.
Oh yeah, we got better. Warriors did get better. But go ahead, G.
I'm agreeing with Daniel. This is the bias episode, but I'm known as a Nets hater. And Daniel made a great point. They did lose somebody that was pretty effective for this squad
Spencer Dinwiddie.
this offseason. Jeff Green, Spencer Dinwiddie didn't play
Oh,
last season. Jeff Green came in and was the Batman to Kevin Durant's Superman. So no Batman Robin references there, but and Jeff Green was very effective, that role player there. I don't know what's the identity of the Nets. They have DeAndre Jordan that's sitting on the bench, not playing. They're running small ball. They don't have Jeff Green anymore now. Those defensive deficiencies are still there. There's a lot to point out. And I'm not saying that the Lakers are a perfect team because we're going to actually have to see one of these players that we gambled on with Kendrick Nunn. And I don't even take it as a gamble, but Kendrick Nunn and Malik Monk, if maybe they can step up, even THT. But as far as the Nets go, who else outside of the big three is going to step up? Joe Harris, he doesn't create his own shot.
Patty
Blake
Mills.
Griffin, Patty Mills, yes. If they have Olympics Patty Mills, maybe they have a shot. They have a shot because he's going to have to play because Kyrie Irving's going to take his time off. That's their big three. I don't know. It's just they have always been the number two. Even if they were the number one, they haven't been the leader of their own squad. So I feel like that is going to play a part in the Nets' demise. But they're like a shoo-in for the East if they stay healthy. But I'm going with the Lakers in 7.
Okay, fair enough. I got the Nets in 6. Just putting that out there. It's August 5th. We can be wildly wrong by the end of this upcoming season, which is in June, July. So don't. It's August 5th. If you disagree with our takes, don't feel bad. It's August 5th. But G, pointed question to you. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you've mentioned Devontae Graham potentially going to the Lakers, right? How do you feel that it was Malik Monk instead of Devontae Graham?
Given that we have Russell Westbrook, and then we ended up picking up Kendrick Nunn, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with us getting Malik Monk because this gives him a second chance. I know the Lakers have been known to be that team, that squad that gives players second chances, and they feel like, I'm this guy. It's Dennis Schroeder. And I think that Malik Monk, this will fare well with him. It's Showtime. Malik Monk, he's one of those players that's in the realm of like a Lou Williams and Monte Ellis. In my opinion, he's a 6'3" and below a guard. He's very athletic, and both of those two players are athletic, and he's a shot creator. He can shoot, he can score. So I'm fine with Malik Monk. He's a young asset. He can play the one or the two, and I'm okay with that. I don't know about the Pelicans replacing Lonzo with Devontae Graham, but hopefully that works out.
Yeah, well, and Tomas Satoransky. Don't forget about him. He's the other piece that they brought along Zion. But yeah, we're talking about second chances, G. You bring it up. So obviously the draft happened at the same time, around the same time as free agency started. So a bunch of teams got a second chance, but who do you think will end up with the best player in the draft? For me personally, obviously biased because, like you said, G, this is the bias podcast. I'm picking Jalen Green because he's Filipino. But other than that, he averaged like 18 points at the G League for the G League Ignite, which is just unheard of, especially considering he skipped college. And Houston now has another versatile guard, another explosive guard that they can just slot in and, do whatever their head coach, Steven Silas, right, wants to do, especially with Christian Wood on the up and up as well. I think that's going to be a pretty fun 1-2 combo. They're not going to win a lot of games, but it'll be fun to watch. How about you guys?
Uh, I'm gonna be. I mean, okay. Look, you've known me that I have had biases towards big men, but Evan Mobley to me, he's gonna be. I think he's gonna surprise everyone. He's gonna turn out to be the best player in this draft. I just love this guy's presence in the paint. He's a monster in the paint. I'm overly impressed with his athletic ability he has shown so far at USC, and most important of all, I think he really truly excels in the unglamorous parts of the game: defense, rebounds, boxing out. I think, excuse me here, but Evan Mobley kind of gives me, I think his ceiling is honestly, if I had to give him a ceiling, he's Kevin Garnett. His floor is Chris Bosh. I think Evan Mobley is going to be, I have a feeling that he's going to be a superstar in this league. Future MVP candidate. I'm seeing it right now.
Fair. G.
Amazing. Oh, those are both great takes. I'm gonna choose Cade Cunningham because he has a daughter.
Okay.
Nah, but when's the last time you seen a 6'8" point guard get drafted number 1 overall? 2003.
Oh.
2003. LeBron James. I'm calling him a point guard. He's a shooting guard. He's a small forward. He's a power forward. He's fucking anything and everything you want him to be. And that's what Cade Cunningham is. Versatile. We talk about being able to impact the game in multiple aspects. We talk about that it factor, that dog factor, and he's on the Detroit Pistons. Who else is on the Detroit Pistons? Killian Hayes and somebody else that's a wing
Isaiah
forward.
Stewart.
There we go.
Sadiq Bey is pretty good too.
Those are all complementary players, in my opinion. Maybe Killian Hayes can turn out to be like a Darren Williams, but Cade Cunningham is that man. That's why he was the number 1 overall pick. It was, why waste the number 1 overall pick on a player that you don't think is the best player in the draft? Cade Cunningham is the best player in the draft. Now he's only 19. We acting like he's a 22-year-old, like you're taking a chance, like he can't grow into something more than what he already is. Cade Cunningham is a total package. He's 6'8". He's a small forward at point guard position. He can score wherever he wants to. I'm giving it to Cade. And he in Detroit, he about to get some defense because he's going to have to, the Detroit dog, Piston, bad boy Pistons might come out of him.
Let's hope so, because even though the Detroit Pistons have a really solid looking core, they're not very old, and I'm assuming they're going to be pretty bad. So like I said,
for him.
Yeah, like I said with the Rockets, they're going to be fun to watch. They're just not going to be very good. Same thing with probably the Cavaliers, because I don't know what direction they're going in. They said that they're not going to extend. They extended Jarrett Allen, but they said they might trade one member of Sexland, Colin Sexton. Yeah, mm-hmm. So it's like, what are the Cavaliers planning to do? Like, are they going to be in the top 3 for the next 10 years until they find LeBron again? Probably not, but we'll see. We shall see. But speaking of Luka, just hitting some quick hitters here really quickly before we wrap things up. So, G, you mentioned Luka, and he played a phenomenal game against France in the semis, and it just was not meant to be, because Luka had 16 points, 18 assists, 10 rebounds in the game against France, in which Slovenia ultimately lost 90-89 on a fantastic block by Nicolas Batum. And I was watching the play, and Luka, for all the things that he should have done, the one thing that he shouldn't have done, down 1 with less than 10 seconds to go, was to pass up that shot, because he had Rudy Gobert switched on him, which was probably the favorable matchup. But instead, he passed it off to his teammate. His teammate drove on Nicolas Batum, and credit Nicolas Batum for, going back and trying to contest the shot which he ultimately did because he got the block. But Luka, he has to take that shot, especially for the gold medal game. He has to take that shot. And were you guys able to watch that game really quickly?
I watched a lot of the highlights. I mean, unfortunately, what happened to Luca? Team France did an incredible job. That's why they're in the gold medal game. They have a fantastic squad going forward. But other than that, Luca should not have anything to be ashamed of. He really put his all during this Olympic tournament, and it only gets the Mavs fans that are listening excited for the upcoming season. I think this kind of shows us that he's gonna be probably one of the best players of his generation and his coming decade.
If not already. But go ahead, G.
Wasn't able to watch it. How do you watch it? Off of Peacock? You got to pay for that shit. What is this?
I'm not gonna say anything. I am not gonna say anything.
Hey, for all everybody that's listening to this podcast, how many Team USA basketball games have you guys watched? Because I have watched zero. I'm not paying for that shit. But yeah, just imagine I'm bright side. Imagine if Goran Dragic was healthy. It would help. I feel like it would help Luka. But yeah, I agree with you, Jarrod. He shouldn't have passed up that shot. You're the guy. You got triple double. You're the only man since LeBron James in 2012 to have that triple double, right? Yeah, tough. But I mean, at least he's still playing for a medal with the bronze. So hopefully he gets that.
Yeah, playing against a really tough Australia squad that the United States lost to in the World Cup and in Vegas, which was surprising to me because they came out again. Were you guys able to watch the USA Australia game? I know, G, you said zilch, but
I kept up with the highlights afterwards. Australia played well, but thankfully, Team USA was able to get it together despite the rough start at the end.
yeah, it was outstanding part. It was outstanding play on the Australians' part because in the second quarter they were up 15 on the United States, and then by the end of the first half, the United States were down, I think, 2 or 3. And spanning the end of the second half or second quarter into like midway through the third quarter, the United States went on a 20-0 run in the third quarter that just completely destroyed whatever feelings of supremacy that the Australians had. That's probably a really weird way to say that, but like whatever hope that the Australians had was just destroyed. And again, we're talking about, that guy. KD is that guy because he scored 23 points in 3 straight games against the Czech Republic, Spain, and Australia, which the United States all won by double digits. And he's the first U.S. basketball player, men's, to score more than 400 points in Olympic history, at least for the United States men's side. So, yeah, I mean, I think if you're France, I'd be kind of worried because this is a rematch of the first, the first prelim game where the United States lost after missing 4 open 3-pointers. If you're the French squad, I'd be kind of scared that you kind of woke up the sleeping giant because now you're getting the best squad playing their best ball and you're the target. So, yeah, I mean, any thoughts on that?
I mean, if the U.S. plays their cards right, this medal is in the bag. This Olympics overall, though, has been encouraging. The international competition seems to get stiffer every 4 years of the Olympic Games. So I'm predicting a U.S. victory, but if France loses this game, they have nothing to be ashamed of. Silver is, it's still silver, and whatever happens, we just want a good game of basketball.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the coffin there. You just want a good game, competitive game. No one gets injured, no one gets hurt. But France should feel bad if they lose. They should. They are here. They want to win this tie. If you're representing your country, you don't go in like, we got the silver. Fuck that. You're going for the gold. And USA should be going for that gold too. So hopefully it's a great competitive game. And like I said, no injuries. Please, no injuries. Yeah. And it should be on TV for us to watch. I don't know what's going on with this Peacock. The hell is a Peacock? WWE's on Peacock. This is pissing me off because we are supposed to be able to see this. Like, this is the only Olympics that I feel like I am like oblivious on what's going on. Like I have to go to Twitter to see highlights. Like Daniel, like bro, I'm trying to watch this game. What's the deal?
Absolutely agreed.
I will not say anything, but yeah, you can catch the game on Peacock at 7:30 Pacific time tomorrow, Friday, August the 6th. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be really fun to see the French go off against the United States one more time, because we were talking about golden generations last podcast. This is France's golden generation. Let's see what happens, because Tony Parker led I think it was the French squad in 2013 or 14 to the gold medal for the FIBA World Cup. So who's to say that they can, in a very, very crazy way, they could potentially upset the United States. They've done it before, but like I said, they've awoken the sleeping giant. So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be the United States probably winning by 10 points, because KD is just too much. No matter who you put on there, KD is just going to demolish people. But yeah. And speaking of demolishing, the U.S. women's, they also demolished Australia to advance to the semis. They will face Serbia in the next few hours, I think, few hours or few days, and we'll see who they play in the final. But yeah, the women's basketball team, I think they're going for their fourth or fifth straight gold medal, something crazy like that. So shout out to them for doing something completely crazy, and yeah, just dominating as they usually do. But that being said, speaking of domination, make sure you subscribe to the Shooting Bricks podcast and leave a review on your platform of choice. It really helps us out. Lastly, make sure to follow us on @PodcastBricks on Twitter, @Shooting Bricks Podcast on Instagram, and @The Shooting Bricks Podcast on YouTube for all the news and the video of this episode of the Shooting Bricks Podcast. And as always, I'm Jarrod Castillo.
I'm Daniel Nguyen. I can't wait for this NBA season to start, and I can't wait to see the Suicide Squad this upcoming weekend. And joining me as well,
it's your boy Really Real Gerrel Sales, and next episode we'll find out what happens to Dennis Schroeder.
Let's hope so. Let's hope so. But we will see you guys next time.